What did the researcher see in the crystal that made them vanish? Fungal veins grip the shards, glow cyclosphaint, rhythmic. Progenitor DNA lingers in its core, a blueprint for resurrection. Not a weapon, but a vault. What horror thrives when the key meets the lock? Vanish. What if the Megamycete isn't just a monster, but veins a grip, the shard's biological glow firewall for the virus that cyclosphaint birthed Umbrella's horrors? The progenitor, source of all their terrors, seethes dormant in its roots, a containment system forged by nature itself. The crystal. A genetic lock, not a power source. Ancient alien, its code binds the virus in a prison of spores. What happens when that lock shatters? The progenitor's resurrection isn't a weapon, it's a breach. A cosmic horror waiting to reclaim its own. The stairway of the sunflower held the progenitor's first breath, a viral blueprint buried in petal cells waiting, centuries past. Mother Miranda unearthed the Megamycete in Romania's cold earth, not a weapon, a primordial guardian. Its roots wove through stone, older than Arclay's 1968 frost, the crystal fragment in Revillage's depths, a vault. DNA sequences mirror the progenitor's code, not a power source, a containment. What if the Megamycete's purpose was never to consume? What if it was designed to suppress? The progenitor's resurrection is not a creation, it is an unshackling. The flower, the fungus, the crystallach, a link in a chain forged before Umbrella's greed. The virus did not evolve. It was exiled, and now the lock cracks. Spores rise, not from the Megamycete's rot, from the stillness between its spores. The progenitor's return is not a mutation. It is a reclamation, a horror not of flesh, but of origin. Beneath the Megamycete's roots, the crystal fragment hums, not with power, with restraint. Its molecular code mirrors the progenitor's blueprint, identical, yet inverted. A genetic cipher, a dead man's switch. What if containment was never the goal? What if suppression was the experiment? The progenitor's evolution did not end at the Megamycete. It paused, a breath held too long. The crystal's lattice acts as a dam, its DNA binding the virus's next mutation. A firewall built by the same hands that unleashed the flood. Umbrella's labs birthed more than monsters. They carved weaknesses into their own creations. The fragment structure suggests a deliberate design, a kill switch fused to the progenitor's lineage. But kill switches crack spiderweb through the crystal. The Megamycete's spores drift closer. Is this collapse an accident or a trigger? The progenitor's return demands a key, and the key is dying. Every spore the Megamycete releases is a password. Every fracture in the crystal a syllable. The firewall fails, the code rewrites, the origin stirs. What waits in the progenitor's next mutation? Not a weapon, not a monster, a reclamation, a horror older than Umbrella's sins. And the clock ticks. The clock ticks not toward salvation, but toward a door left ajar. Mother Miranda's ink-stained pages named the Megamycete a sentinel, not a menace. The church mapped its roots for centuries, tracing tendrils that coiled around the progenitor's prison, a living seal, a fungal vow. Then came Umbrella, their labs spread like blight across oceans, through decades until 1998. They did not seek to contain, they sought to crack. To weaponize the keeper of the key, the crystal fragment in Revillage is no power source, it is a scar. A failed experiment where progenitor code met Megamycete resistance. Umbrella's scientists carved it from the earth, hoping to bypass the firewall. Instead, they left a wound, a relic of arrogance. The fungus did not yield, it absorbed, adapted. The crystal now hums with dormant code, a genetic lock, not a battery, a cipher waiting for the right hand to turn it. What did the church know that Umbrella's greed erased? That the Megamycete was never their enemy, it was their warden. And in its mycelial veins flows the progeny. Is the crystal a vault or a catalyst? The progenitor's evolution did not end at humans. It burrowed deeper, wove itself into mycelial veins. To kill the fire, you must first become its match. Who guards the guardian now? The crystal's lattice holds a code older than Umbrella's greed. Ethan's hands brushed a key to the progenitor's slumber, not fuel, but a seal. Fungal tendrils coiled around its edges, a prison within a prison. Why bury this here, in a village choked by roots? Umbrella feared what they could not contain. The church, blind to the truth, called it a relic of divine wrath. Miranda's hymns masked a deeper heresy. The progenitor was never dead. Its blueprint slumbers in the mycelium, waiting for a trigger. The fragment is that trigger, a genetic lock rusted shut by time. To crack it is to awaken a force that reshaped flesh into nightmare. The megamycete feeds on containment, its hunger a safeguard against the virus that birthed it, but safeguards decay. What if the church's sacred fire was never meant to destroy? What if it was meant to complete? The progenitor's resurrection will not begin in a lab. It begins here, in the soil where Ethan's blood met mycelium. The fragment pulses, the roots listen, the seal weakens. Who now bears the weight of that first crack? Beneath Revillage's roots, the crystal sleeps. Fungal veils shroud its glow, a pale blue heartbeat in the dark. Ethan's blood seeped here, a key to a lock older than Umbrella. The mycelium coils tight, a living cipher guarding the progenitor's code. Each spore that drifts carries the weight of forgotten equations, genetic blueprints, waiting to unfurl. The fragment hums, a sound felt in the marrow, as if the earth itself holds its breath. What did Ethan awaken when he touched this altar? The progenitor's slumber is not death, but dormancy. A virus does not create, it corrupts, yet here in this fungal crypt, corruption is containment. The roots are not a prison, but a womb, and wombs, dear seeker, do not hold forever. The seal cracks. The code stirs, what grows when the firewall fails. The crystal's veins pulse faintly, a heartbeat stolen from the earth. Translucent roots twist like frozen lightning, binding progenitor code to fungal flesh. Here, in Umbrella's buried vault, nature's blueprint was shackled, not destroyed. The rainforest's ancient virus, born from African soil, now thrives in sterile agony. What begins as life becomes a ledger of profit. A single fragment held in gloved hands hums with dormant rage. Its edges cut like bone, its core reeks of antiseptic decay. This is no weapon, it is a scar, a testament to how corporations carve sacred things into patents. The progenitor, once wild and unknowable, now simmers in vial-stained, traded, twisted. The mycelium's glow dims. A warning etched in bio-code, containment is a lie. Every lab note, every syringe, every breakthrough built on this fungus's suffering. Umbrella did not create the progenitor, they exhumed it, and in their hunger they became its first host. What does the crystal cradle? Not power, not hope. The raw, unyielding truth that life cannot be owned. Every spore that escapes is a requiem for ethics. The firewall fails, the womb opens. And the world learns again. Some awakenings demand a price no ledger can hold. Beneath the ash the crystal hums, a key, not a core. The progenitor's evolution, through spore, through flesh, Megamycete's twisted lineage. What if the firewall was never meant to hold? What if the village's roots cradle more than a monster?